Mr. Alan Davis, welcome to Rosario. And what do you feel being here in Crack Bam Boom?
I'm enjoying myself very much. The people are very, very kind. The organisers have been brilliant. I am having an absolutely terrific time.
We realized that you have or one of your relatives were here in Rosario. Was a surprise for you?
Well, what happened was for my 60th birthday, my son worked out my genealogy. There'd always been a mystery about where my grandfather had come from. There was a suspicion he'd been born in South America, but none of the family knew. When my son did the family tree, he found out he'd been born here in Rosario. 2 months later, I met Eduardo Riso in Sao Paulo, and he said, "Would you come to our convention?" I said, "Where is it?" He said, "Rosario," and it just seemed too incredible not to accept. So here I am.
How do you feel doing Captain Britain when you started out in Marvel?
Well, it was, again, another complete fluke. My life has been full of these. I'd sent a sketch to a friend for a fanzine he was doing, and he said to me that he just heard that Marvel UK were going to be at a convention and they were looking for someone to work for them cheap. They couldn't afford a full-time professional. They were paying less than half of what the professional rate was. I just seen it as an opportunity to do something for a laugh. I didn't take it seriously. I went down to the convention, met the people, and they liked what I did, and they offered me Captain Britain. So I started working on it, and it was in my free time. I had a full-time job working in a warehouse, driving forklifts, being a labourer, and then the work just kept on coming in, and eventually I became full-time. So it was as simple as that. It wasn't like I had a great desire and I'd been beating on doors asking to become an artist. It just happened by accident.
We know that Marvel, they have a cinematic universe right here now, and there's a possibility that Captain Britain will join that MCU. What do you feel? Do you enjoy that superhero movies? Do you enjoy that?
I see the superhero movies as being something totally separate to comics. I don't see them as being the same thing at all. And I'm never offended by a film because I don't expect it to be like the comic. When you read Thor, there are hundreds of issues of Thor that you can read. The story is very dense, it goes back very far. If you see a Thor film, it's on for 2 hours maybe, and that's all there is of it. And even if you add all the Thor films together, they still wouldn't make up a year's worth of comic continuity. So they're very lightweight compared to comics, but that doesn't mean they're bad. They have their advantages, but it is a completely separate thing in my mind.
It is another character it's Batman, and you work with Batman in year 2, I presume. And before. And it was a challenge to you to draw Batman?
It certainly was, because when I started working on Batman and the Outsiders, which was the first time I drew Batman, I'd been working in comics for around 3 years. I had no art education. I didn't understand some of the basic principles about perspective or drawing, or even drawing work for publication. So I really was a complete novice. And being asked to take over from Jim Aparo, who is one of my heroes, was just mind-boggling. And I was intimidated, to say the least. And so it was a very, very steep learning curve. But Mike Barr, who was the writer and the editor, was absolutely fantastic and made it much easier for me.
You enjoy having time with those men working with you?
Again, I just feel like I should have a big cheesy grin on me all my life, because I've just had so much luck. So many good things have happened to me. I've met all my heroes. They've become colleagues. They become friends. They become people that I can meet on a regular basis at conventions and enjoy life with. I mean, I never ever thought that Jose Garcia Lopez would even speak to me. But now that I can go out to dinner with him and have a laugh, it's just untrue.
Thank you for this interview, Alan, and you are our hero too.
Thank you very much.